you'll be good. But once you begin to go in what one would call emotional depletion, is when you begin to get to a point where you are functioning unconsciously to a degree where you're not able to feel the rhythm or the natural flow of Mother Gaia. And when you get to that point, you basically checked out. You checked out, and you only steps away from a total burnout, meaning that you go to a place where you just shut down. And most of the time when people get to a place where they completely shut down, it takes them a long time to recover, a long time to get out of the funk, a long time to get out of that space or that mentality of fight or flight, which I call survival mode, right? A lot of us who have a lot on our plate when it comes down to delegating tasks, juggling a lot of different things at once, or when it comes down to taking care of our responsibilities, our day-to-day responsibilities, our non-negotiables, things that we have to wake up every day and it has to get done no matter what. We began to put ourselves in a position of experiencing burnout because nobody wants to be putting in time and energy into something and not see progression from it. But a lot of people do not know how to organize their life, systematize their life in a way where they are able to gain the maximum amount of success without putting themselves in a position of experiencing a lot of inefficiencies. Inefficiencies meaning that you are not as efficient. Your output that you are putting out there, the energy output that you're giving towards something, is not at its highest form of demonstration, or is not being delivered proficiently. And if it's not being delivered proficiently, the person that's on the receiving end, or the universe itself on the receiving end, is not going to be able to take that energy that you're putting out there and convert it into the type of vision that you may have for your life. Let me just put it simply like that, right? So I was talking to you guys about, in the last recap regarding walking in grace, we left off when I told you guys that a lot of people get it misconstrued, that they think that time equals success. If I put a certain amount of time into something, that I'm just going to automatically be successful. That's wrong. I'm sorry, y'all. I got a little bit too happy with the marker. That's wrong. That's not true. People forget that the in-between is the energy output. It's how much energy that you put into something in combination with the time that you spent putting the necessary energy into it that would make one to be successful or to have a certain degree of success. So energy matters. Energy matters. Like I told you guys as an example, I cannot walk up and put 50% of my energy into something while I also have 100% into something else. It's not going to equate to the type of success that I'm looking for. Right? So, stress and burnout are two different things. Stress is when something is too much, it's too overwhelming, it's a lot on your plate. But they do coincide with one another. They work hand in hand with another. So stress plus burnout leads to exhaustion. And there are different levels of exhaustion. Right? And then you also have physical tiredness versus emotional depletion. Two different things, but they can work hand in hand together that will lead towards burnout. Right? So burnout is not when you can't function, it is when you function without feeling. You have to feel it, and you have to feel every darn bit of it. You have to feel it. You have to feel every darn bit of it. When it's overwhelming, when you feel like it's too much, when you feel like it's a lot going on, you got a lot of tasks, you want to feel it, because that is a signal. It signals to you that something is not working. Signals are alerts. It's warning signs that something is not working. But a lot of people don't understand what's not working. What's not working. So we come back to that why. Remember I tell you we keep revisiting that why, because everybody is wanting to know, how do I approach elevation? How do I get to a level of elevating? How do I succeed and be able to deliver on certain tasks? All right, I'm gonna say it because I went through that whole thing and it stopped recording. So us looking at this, trying to go back. All right. So stress and burnout are two different things. Stress is when something becomes overwhelming, when something is too much for you to bear, for you to take on. It's too much of a burden. While burnout is when you do something too long over a period of time. The two and two goes hand in hand. They coincide with one another. So it's a cohesive structure of both stress and burnout that leads to what we call exhaustion, right? Now, the difference between physical tiredness and emotional depletion, you will have to experience for yourself. But when you experience it, you know that these two are very much different. Physical tiredness is you can get some rest, catch up on some rest, and you would be good. When you get to a place of being emotionally depleted, that is when you are going through a phase of chronic exhaustion, chronic burnout. This leads towards phases of depression. You know, it can be anywhere from mild to chronic depression. It all depends on the individual and the person when you get to a place of being emotionally depleted. And that is because your energy levels are very low. Very low. And when your energy levels get really low, it's hard for you to be able to put out the type of energy that's necessary in order for you to be able to sustain the type of energy and vibration that's necessary for you to not be flooded with low vibrational energies. That means that your thought processes is messed up. The way in which you deliver and demonstrate and act, your behavior patterns become imbalanced, and all of these different things, which ends up leading towards things like hormonal imbalance and things like that, right? Burnout is not when you can't function, it's when you function without feeling. You have to feel it, and you have to feel every darn bit of it, because these signals are alerts. They are warnings. Warnings to let you know when you are misaligned. Warnings to let you know when you're about to experience burnout. You cannot not feel what you are going through. You need to feel it so that way you can restructure, rebuild, and strategize on how you can be able to course correct what is not working, because that's basically what it's telling you. Something's not working. You need to revisit your current framework, your current system that you have in your life, your priorities, your tasks, and your responsibilities, and see what is not working. And it has to do with your system. It has to do with your framework, how you go about your mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual state of being, and it being in alignment in order for you to receive and experience what one would call success. Success is not you being avoidant. You cannot avoid something and think that you're about to experience success. You cannot force your manifestations and think that you're about to receive success. It does not work that way. You cannot be impatient and think that you can force something into become. So, I recorded this like 4 times. That means that somebody, something don't want you to get this message. But I pray to Elohim, I pray to the Father, that any dark entities, principalities, or spiritual wickedness that is trying to keep you from getting this message, trying to stop you from getting this energetic read, I pray that it be uprooted and uplifted by the blood of Yeshua. In the mighty name of Yeshua, I pray, we pray, amen, amen, amen. All glory to the Most High, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. So, emotional depletion is an energetic overload, an energetic lack of what's required and what's needed in order for you to vibrate at a higher level of consciousness of self, in order for you to be able to output the type of energies that needs to be emitted into the universe for you to be able to manifest into vision what you see your life to be like, or what you want your life to be like, right? So whatever you envision for your life to be like, you have to be operating at a certain level of consciousness of self, mind, body, and spirit, and that has to do with overall your vibrational frequency that would determine what you're able to manifest into your manifold. You cannot manifest from exhaustion. Burnout is not when you can't function. It is when you function without feeling. You have to feel it, and you have to feel every darn bit of it. You have to feel it, and you have to feel every darn bit of it. Why? Because these are signals. These are alerts that are warnings that is helping you to know when you are leading yourself down a path of experiencing burnout. Burnout is especially important, especially when you get into being emotionally depleted on an energetic level. And that is because it is walking you down a path of not being able to come out of your shadow, not being able to balance the duality of both your dark and your light worlds. That means your ups, your downs, your struggles, and the things where your struggles and the things where you are strengthened at, right? There are different aspects, and for different people, we operate at different levels within these aspects. Aspects having to do with your mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual state of being. All has to be aligned. If anybody tell you anything different, they're a lie. You have to be aligned mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually in order for you to experience what one would call true success. True success meaning that this is going to lead towards long-term success that can be sustained over a long period of time. Longevity leads towards building empires, building legacies, generational wealth. I'm not talking about anything temporary. I'm not talking about anything that lasts for a few seasons, a few years, a decade. I'm talking about something that lasts for a lifetime and lifetimes over, right? That is long-term success. That is true success. Success is not being avoiding your responsibilities, avoiding the tasks that you need to get done, right? Forcing the agenda, forcing time before time is actually able to manifest what you're calling into your manifold. You cannot force success. You cannot force your manifestations. Being impatient, jumping on any opportunity that comes because you want something to feel like you have some type of motion going on, feeling like you winning, or wanting others to feel like you winning, wanting to demonstrate a certain capacity of feeling like you're operating at a level of consciousness that cannot sustain itself for a long period of time. That is not success. Distraction fillers. This is something that we really need to focus on. Distraction fillers, because I know that somebody at some point in time experienced distraction fillers. Distraction fillers having to do with filling your time and your energy with people, places, or things that does not serve your highest good, that does not serve the highest consciousness of self to make you a better person, right? And this has to do a lot with you going out to celebrate and partying with low vibrational people, and they want you around because they feel like you're the life of the party, because you're a high vibrational being. They feel like that you make everything better. You make everything more fun. You make everybody more comfortable. Everybody relatable. Everybody gets along when you come around. Everybody has fun and have a good time when you come around. There ain't no drama. There ain't no complications. You know how to make everything run smoothly, and everything runs smoothly because of your high vibrations. These people know this unconsciously, but not really be aware of it because they're not aware of themselves. These are low vibrational beings, so they tend to feed off of other people's energy. They're feeding off of your high vibrational energy. So you going out, you partying, you celebrating with these people, but they are low vibrational and they're depleting you of your energy. You wake up the next morning feeling depleted. I thought I just had fun. I thought I just celebrated, but at the same time, I'm waking up feeling depleted. I feel emotionally drained. Why is that? Because you are filling your time up with distraction fillers. People that are not giving you the same input the same energy that you are outputting. What you're receiving on your end is not equating to what you just output, to what you just gave. That give and take ratio is off. It's imbalanced. And because it's imbalanced, you need to learn how to begin to audit your energy. Audit your energy having to do with the output and the input of the energy. Right? What's going in and what's coming out. What's coming in and what's going out. Sorry. You need to look at, are they helping me to rest up, restore, revive, rise to the occasion, be better, see better, create and live and fulfill at a higher consciousness of self? Are they doing that for me? If they are not, that's because you need to take the time out to strategize, re-strategize, to rebuild a structure and system that is going to help you operate at your highest consciousness of self. Whatever framework you have in place is not working. That's where these signals and these alerts and these warnings are coming from. The divine trying to tell you your framework is not working. Something is off. Priorities is off. Your responsibilities and the way you delegate your tasks, something is off. Something is misaligned. And because something is misaligned, it's making you feel like you're weak. But you're not weak. You're just burning out. You just burning out because you stressed out. You stressed out, you might be physically tired. You may be emotionally depleted. It all depends on what you're feeding. What is you giving your time and your energy to? Most people believe that success equates to, I said before, time equals success. No, it does not. Time does not equal success. It's the energy and the time. It's both combined. They're integrated. How much energy and time you put into something that equates to your success. The energy matters. Energy always matters. The vibration matters. What you're giving and what you're receiving matters. It is a such thing as being selfish. You need to learn how to be selfish. And that's not a crime to be selfish. That is self-care. That is self-preservation. That is you learning how to be able to self-motivate and empower yourself to be able to elevate and be sustainable, so that way you are not leading yourself down a road of destruction. That road of destruction means that your pathway is blocked. Your pathway is blocked is because you are not in alignment. So I want you guys to take the time out to be transparent with yourself. See where you are on a scale of experiencing burnout on a scale of 1 to 10. Ask yourself. And in this, I want you to look at your current framework that you have in place. Revisit your framework. What is your framework? How is it working for you? Do you see some areas in your life, whether it be mentally, emotionally, physically, or spiritually, that you need to realign in order for you to feel like you are in alignment and have yourself positioned and have yourself in position to be successful or to receive some type of success on any type of level? Because if there's any type of imbalance in any of these areas, at some point you're going to go down the road of experiencing burnout, right? You are. It's just nature. It's just how things are. So rebuilding strategically is something that we are really going to dive deeper into. This week was about grounding. This is about coming to terms with what we have in place and determining that what we currently have in place having to do with our frameworks that's helping us to delegate our tasks, responsibilities, and our priorities what needs to be changed and how to change it so that we can maximize success, limit inefficiencies, and be able to minimize any chances of experiencing burnout. Next week, we're going to go into regulating this sustainability, regulating this framework to the degree, regulating our energy. Let me put it that way. Regulating our energy in a sustainable way for us to be able to continue in a momentum that is not going to allow for us to experience burnout. Moving too fast will sometimes put you in a position of burnout. When you just want to go, 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 go. That's why I keep telling people, steady pace wins the race. A steady pace wins the race. Everything is about just fast money, fast this, fast success, fast, 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 fast. Everything's fast. But all of that end up going downhill. And people don't have longevity, long-term success because they so busy trying to do everything fast. It takes time to build. It takes time to build. It takes time to build strategically. Right? It takes time for you to build strategically. Nothing happens overnight. And if you are dealing with people who keep trying to feed you the ideal that things happen overnight or that you're going to be successful overnight, those people don't tend to experience success too long. And you also need to be aware of what your support system is, because your support system may be different from somebody else's support system. They may have a whole support system behind them that's helping to influence or that's helping them to influence what they have going on in their life and sustain what they have going on in their life. And you may not have that type of sustainability, those type of resources. Let me put it that way. You may not have those type of resources. So you need to be very transparent of what your resources is and learning how to be resourceful and also strategic about how you implement and utilize these resources, because those are your tools. Your tools is going to help you to keep going and keep moving and keep being and keep seeing and keep creating and living and fulfilling in a higher consciousness of self. You are a visionary. And visionaries have to take time in order for the vision to come to life. You can't rush that. That takes time. It takes time to develop oneself and to grow to the degree of where you are able to live up to what you're asking to be manifested into your life. That is not something that happens overnight. And stop letting people gas you up and making you feel like that's what it is, because it's not. And a lot of times they be having other sponsors, other people that are resourceful or have the resources for them to be able to lend them what they need in order for them to push the ideal of them being in a position that they truly are not at yet. So be very transparent with you, with where you are, right? Be concerned with where you are, not where others are. Because your success is not going to look like their success. And that's okay. Long as you are aligned mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, baby, you are on the road to success. It does not matter how long it takes you to get there, as long as you get there. Slow and steady pace wins the race. Slow and steady pace wins the race. It gives you time to be able to strategically position yourself for success. And normally when you take the time out to strategically position yourself, once you get yourself in a place of being able to create certain frameworks and being consistent within those frameworks, success normally seems like it happens fast, but it really doesn't. It's just that you took a lot of time preparing, a lot of time positioning, a lot of time developing and growing yourself to the degree that when it actually did pick up, it just took off for you. Right? So I want y'all to look to take the time out to find out where you are on a scale of 1 to 10 of experiencing burnout. Revisit that, right? And see where you are. Because where you are will determine how misaligned you may be. If the output needs to be restored, how much energy you're giving out needs to be restored. You may need to rest. You may need to retract. You may need to reposition. You may need to, renege on a couple of dates that you have set, going out to celebrate and party with people that you know that you have no business partying and celebrating with. It's about a season of you restructuring to be able to strategically set yourself up for success. So we are going to focus most definitely on frameworks, because everything operates within systems. Systems work. Systems are efficient. And it will help you to be able to see progression in the proficiency of the deliverables and the way that you show up. So that is all for now. I hope to see you guys again. I hope you got something out of this. Until next time, Detasia Tatiana, the mother of restoration. Peace.